Hey, good afternoon, late morning to everybody. Thank you for taking time out of your AEP to join us. Brandon and I were just talking and cannot believe it is already November 19th. It's just insane how time flies. November 19th gives us 19 days until AEP is over. So that might light a fire with some of you guys, but it's crazy and true. Those 19 days will probably feel like 7 days if time keeps flying by like this. But here we are. And this is our last Wisdom Wednesday for AEP. So, Brandon, let's get rolling so we can get these peeps back to selling.
Absolutely.
All right, guys. This can't be more true. Sales do not happen on their own, and every area is a little bit different about what is working and what is not. But what is working and what is making agents successful is putting in the sweat equity, doing their homework, knowing the plans, and getting themselves out there. The last few years, some of our most successful agents are the ones who are still out there doing face-to-face sales along with grassroots marketing and educational and sales events. If you are getting your face and your brand out there, you are innately going to be successful. So as long as you're willing to put in the effort, those sales will come, but that effort has to be consistent. You can't get out there one day and do one sales event or one educational event and think that you're going to win AEP. All these activities have to be done consistently to get that name and brand recognition. The next step is to know your plans, know your market, and be able to speak well about what the client has available to them and why they should make the decision that you're suggesting to be their most advantageous health plan. So if you're getting out and about and you really have taken the time to learn the plans in your area, that's when these sales are going to happen. So far, that is exactly what the top 20 on our sales list is doing. So please keep that in mind. If you have any questions, please let us know. Your sales development manager, myself, or Brandon are all happy to help you capitalize on these last 19 days of AEP to make the best of it.
One thing, Courtney, that I think you just said that a lot of agents don't really think about, and that's the when you know all of the plans that are available and can speak to each of them, that sets you apart because a lot of the agents out there that are they're trying and they're trying and trying, but they really just hone in on just one opportunity, one plan, or maybe there's captive agents out there that are calling beneficiaries. But when you can talk intelligently about multiple plans and maybe even provide opportunities to cross sell in those conversations, that again sets your brand apart and definitely will make an impact on the beneficiary you're in front of. But then, as we'll talk about here in a little bit, I don't want to steal thunder from slides upcoming, but they'll tell other people about you too because they were very impressed with you. They felt comfortable. They understand what they have and why they have it and how to use it, and then they're going to tell other people about it. So that's we always tell our agents to just yes, you're busy, but make sure you know those plans. Make sure you can tell the beneficiaries specifics about each one and what sets each one apart, because that will then set you apart. Just my 2 cents on that.
100%. There can't be a more accurate statement, especially if you're in an area where there is a plan or a carrier that is only available to captive agents. You got to understand that plan in order to be able to explain why it's not the best plan for your client. So if you have limited offerings, if you jumped in right before AEP and only have a couple carriers, it is in your best interest to also know the plans that you're selling against. Um, you got to give the good, the bad, and the ugly of
Mm,
everything that's available in order to truly help somebody make the best decision for them. This this couldn't be truer this year.
yeah.
In almost every market, we are seeing a true growth year. And what that means is your existing clients in many ways are staying put. So they may really like their plan. They may be on the best plan for them and not want to change. But they're still asking for meetings. They're still wanting to make sure that what they think is actually accurate. The key to this is ask for referrals. Miss Betty, we really do think that this is still the best plan for you. If you really like it, like you just said that you did, why don't you give me the name of a couple of your friends? I can help them get enrolled on this plan as well. Seniors love to help, and they also like some additional pocket money. You can pay up to $100 per Medicare Advantage referral. So if Miss Betty is sending you her entire card club full of seniors, and three of them enroll, you can absolutely send her up to $300 for all three of those enrollments. So $100 an enrollment is what you're allowed to pay for Medicare Advantage or Medicare Supplement referral fees. They do allow up to $25 for drug plan referrals. I'm going to say this. Most drug plans are not commissionable at the current time, so I would not worry yourself about that. But Medicare enrollments pay up to $100 a pop. Let your clients know that. $100 lead cost for a sale is nothing in the long run. Invest in your clients, invest in those referrals, and that's going to go a long, long way. If your clients are in a situation where they've already given you all their referrals, or maybe you have a hard time having that conversation, talk to them about ways to keep their copays down, hospital indemnity plans, dental plans. I'm just going to give a shout out to a couple carriers. Right now, GTL and National Care Dental have gone above and beyond in customer service. We've had a few issues come up with both carriers, and I cannot speak enough for their client services right now. They have been amazing. National Care Dental has gone so far as calling the provider to figure out what is going on, why claims weren't filed, or why they were filed in the manner that they are, and have kicked in to really make a difference, and continue that follow up until the issue is resolved. So, GTL, National Care Dental, for your hospital indemnity, for your dental plans. I think those two carriers are going to make a big difference. And also, those cross sells really tie the clients to you even more. So, not only did you put them on a great plan, but now you're adding additional benefit to them. That is just as good as a referral. And at that point, they might give you more referrals. So don't think it's a waste of your time going out there to see your client, or having your client come into your office when you know they're on the best plan. It's just a great way to continue to solidify that relationship and make yourself stand out. People who are getting attention aren't going to answer the phone. If they feel neglected, they're much more likely to answer the phone. And that's where you stand the chance in losing a client to a call center.
that made me think as you were saying that, because that popped into my head that, you know, the beneficiaries that get the calls, even if they're on the best plan for them and you don't make a change, it makes them feel seen, it makes them feel welcome, it makes them feel heard. But if they don't hear from you as their agent, then like Courtney said, they're more likely to answer that call. They may be on the best plan, but let me tell you something. There's a lot of really good uh, shyster phone agents out there, if you will, that can, they might be, a beneficiary may be on a great plan, but they're going to sell them something that they don't need because that's what they do. And that senior, because they haven't heard from their agent, they're like, oh, well, this guy's making this sound like the best thing ever. So they're going to go with that. To what Courtney was saying, they'll pick up the phone, they'll answer those questions, they'll move that plan. But it's just like in PNC, when you have those annual reviews with your client, even if you're not making changes and you say, you know what, you're on the best plan, but hey, let's make it even better, to Courtney's point, with the hospital indemnity, with the dental coverage, maybe even vision if they have, ocular issues and they need glasses or contacts or anything like that. When you can better someone's situation, they will stay with you longer, because obviously you've gained now multiple policies into that household. The last sentence on the screen there, then they're more apt to refer you to people that they know and that are in the same boat as them, whether they're, in at the Y, or whether they're at the senior club or bingo or bowling or whatever. Um, Pickleball. I'm amazed at, when I go to the gym down here in Chattanooga, I'm amazed at the number of people playing pickleball that could be my grandparents. I think it's fantastic that they're being active, but there's a whole group of them. And so I know they talk. So I've actually told some of the agents down here in Chattanooga, hey, you need to get into this pickleball league. Anyway, referrals, if you're touching base with your customers routinely and you're giving them advice, even if they're on the plan that they need to be on, they're less likely to leave you to go to somebody else. Not saying they won't do it, but at least you've talked to them and they do know who you are. If you're one of those agents that you sell a customer and then forget about them, your persistency on your book is going to be really, really low.
Absolutely. This just really attests to what we just talked about, and cross-selling and making sure that your book of business is as diverse as possible, which means spread the love from carrier to carrier. You're seeing how drugs can be vastly different in prices from one carrier to the next. You are seeing how benefits are different or better from one carrier to the next. Read into that. What carriers did very, very well this year was tell you exactly what type of business they wanted. There is not one carrier out there who is going after all of the market share. Each carrier wants just a little piece. And they're telling you that by the way they have drugs tiered. They're telling you that by the copays on their plans. They are giving you exactly what you need to know. You just have to read into it. And at this point in the game, we've seen it the last couple of years and even more so this year with plan exits and non-commissionable plans. They don't want all the business. When a carrier makes something non-commissionable, it's because they don't want it sold. When they tier a medication in a tier 3 category when other carriers have it as a tier 1, it's because they don't want clients with that health problem on their plan. Their actuarials have said those people cost too much. So in order to keep our copays lower on this side, we're going to have to increase our drug costs on this side because it will eliminate those people from our plan. And then we're able to serve more clients. Use that to your benefit. Have, 30 enrollments on Humana and 50 enrollments on Aetna and 15 on whatever little regional carrier is in your area. Don't discount any carrier. Understand them all and place the business as appropriate. There are C-SNP plans that look very similar, but the drugs are different. There are, D-SNP plans that pulled out of certain counties, but their benefits are still great in other counties. Use that to your benefit. Again, this really goes back to your knowledge and doing your homework ahead of having an appointment with your client. Um, Take the opportunity to diversify your book from a carrier standpoint as well as a product standpoint. And if that means that this is the first year that you pick up ACA as part of your portfolio, then do that. If you have been listening to me tell you to cross sell for the last 5 years and this is the year that you do it, I promise I will personally call you. We will have a little celebration, but do it. Take this opportunity to diversify your book of business. This is what makes things like a carrier leaving an area or a carrier making a plan non-commissionable or a big attrition in benefits where they went from a $0 specialist copay to a $35 specialist copay. This is what makes those changes more bearable. Having a diverse book of business typically means that next year, if there's a large change, you don't have to go rewrite your entire book. You have to go rewrite a portion of your book, and you can still grow your business. Spreading the business across multiple carriers is not only sustainable, it's your smart option to make sure that you're able to continue to grow new business year after year. This kind of speaks to our first slide as well. I think you'll notice that all of our slides kind of go back to that initial slide. Do business the way that your clients want you to do business. Some people want a phone call. Some people want to see you in person. Some people want to see you along with another group of people because they don't want to go by themselves. Listen, do what your clients are asking for. It makes doing business a lot easier. You can take phone appointments on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and do your in-person appointments on Tuesday and Thursday, or vice versa. Maybe every Saturday you're out there doing an event, and then you're following up with in-person meetings Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Do your phone work Thursday and Friday. Whatever is best for you and your clients, do that. Don't be a one-trick pony. Make sure that you're able to have appointments in every way possible to meet the needs of as many clients as possible. And Brandon, I know you have some stuff to add to that.
Yeah, this has been especially, and I hate to even bring it up, but coming out of COVID, remember we were all phone agents back then, or Zoom agents, if you will, and the world has opened up since then. But there's still customers out there that just call me. I don't want to come in. But then there's others that are, oh, thank God everything's open. I need to sit in front of somebody. I need you to explain it to me. Being able to approach your beneficiaries in the way that they want is, again, going to build your brand in a way that is just going to help you, right? And so there's multiple platforms out there to do online enrollments, through the carriers sites. E-apps are available. If you want to do your appointments via webcam, there's Zoom. Most of your laptops have built-in cameras that you can see. Now, the thing about that is you're going to have to deal with your beneficiaries trying to figure out how to turn their camera on if you do that. But a lot of this is going to be easier the more you do it, the more you get out there. And we've got some online presence guides out on nccagent.com, our website, that can help walk you through some of this stuff. And, I've even seen agents that do FaceTime with beneficiaries that have Apple devices. Obviously, you can't, well, I don't know if I think now they may have crossed over. You can do FaceTime on Android with a Apple. Anyway, all the tech stuff I usually leave to my kids to tell me about. But our what I'm getting at here is that our seniors are more tech savvy than we give them credit for a lot of times, and so be available for them, whether it's phone call, whether it's a Zoom call with a video, whether it's in person. The events thing that Courtney has, I know Courtney, we've talked about it the last 4 sessions,
Yeah.
5. Um, the events are just phenomenal, and if you're not doing them, we've only got 19 days left, so let's maybe pause that and we can talk about that for next year. But if you haven't done an event yet, that is going to be one of your key takeaways of this is I want to do an event next year. I want to try that, and we can help you with that. We've got our event in a box that we can provide with you. We have an event guide that talks about how to do events. That is something that you come in contact with folks that are going to want to do business with you, and it's amazing. And then you can set up how do they want to meet with you? Do they want to do in person? Do they want to be just call me? I even heard an agent the other day. We figured out how to do the scope of appointment through Sunfire via text because their beneficiary just said, just text it to me. It was amazing. So, and we got it done. So, when you are an in-demand agent like that, and you can meet multiple different ways, you're going to be referred to a lot of people. I guarantee you.
This is going into these last 19 days, probably even more important. Um, Carriers have changes. They have, communications that they're sending, but most importantly, what a carrier is sending is any additional needed items to make your client um, policy effective date. So if they have a request for information, if there was a misprint or they couldn't read your handwriting if you're not doing e-apps, or even if you type something in wrong, which I oddly did just the other day. Read your emails. This is where carriers are communicating with you. This is a lot of the NCC communications for you. But please pay attention to your emails. Read the carrier emails. Read our emails from National Contracting Center. Jackson, myself, your sales development manager, Heather, Brandon, whoever's sticks out in your head, make sure that you're skimming your inbox for any important communications, but really pay attention to the carrier emails. You want to make sure that the policies are in place come 1/1 when your clients are ready to make their doctor appointment. Because I guarantee you, there is somebody out there with a doctor's appointment on the 2nd of January and you want to make sure that they have their card, that their policy is in place, etc. Because you don't want that phone call come January 2nd to find out that on November 30th, you could have fixed a problem that now made your client not have coverage. These emails are hugely important, not just for plan changes, but also to make sure that your client has that policy when they need it.
Yeah, I'm in an agent group on Facebook, and there was a post this morning talking about Humana's PDPs and why couldn't they find them? And most of the answers were not very friendly to this because most of the answers was that was in an email a couple weeks ago.
Yep.
So like that's the importance of reading and staying up to date on those emails. And it's hard when you're getting multiple emails per day from different carriers, from us. That's why we try to only send a weekly e-blast, but we try to pack it with information that's going to be beneficial that you can use. And so, that's just a case in point of make sure to read those because you could miss some very important details, because that's the easiest way for carriers to mass communicate to their agent force. Their broker managers can't call everybody. So what they do is they put all that information in an email and send it out. And I'm guilty of overlooking things on different
It,
emails. That's part of our nature, right? We skim it. Courtney, you and I both are pretty hyperactive, so we catch every fourth, fifth word. So sometimes we have to read things twice to make sure we understood it. But definitely in this last stretch of AEP, make sure you're checking the emails, reading the emails, and reach out to us if you have questions with anything. We'll be glad to talk through anything that you get that you don't fully understand or need some clarification on.
and a helpful hint from your ADHD friend here is I read my emails with a pen and paper so I can write down what I feel is important because I hate when my inbox is packed. I try to keep my inbox as manageable as possible and file things and put things in their folder. But if I write it down, I can just refer to my cheat sheet. And I know that on this day, Humana said that as of 11/9, all their drug plans are going to be pulled from anything other than humana.com or medicare.gov. And that sticks with me. So sometimes just reading and writing, it commits it to memory and gives you one place to refer to all those little important quips that you took from the 80 million emails that you've gotten. This is this is my favorite picture right there. Is this little guy with his cup phone, um, because we all get frustrated. It happens. But what we really get frustrated about is losing a client. You don't do that when you're communicating early, often, and in multiple ways. So what does that mean? It means some people want a text, some people want an email, some people want a phone call. Do that. You can have them opt in to emails. You can have them opt in to texting if you have a text service. But just check in with your clients. Do that before 1/1 to make sure that they do have their cards, to make sure that they didn't pick up the phone for a telephone agent who enrolled them in another plan. Do it often, especially through those first 90 days, because people are going to have questions. Your key to retention and to making sure that a client doesn't call a carrier and say, I don't understand. And then what you're communicating is with the carrier as to why that complaint should never have been a complaint. It was just a question. By communicating with your clients, it really does. It ties them to you. Again, it gives you that opportunity to ask for a referral or cross sell. But they don't go anywhere when they know they have a trusted advisor and not a fly by night insurance guy who just sold them something and is never heard from again. Don't be that person. Build those relationships, make sure that they understand how to use their policies, and they don't go anywhere. So communication early, often, and in any way your clients are willing to accept that communication gives you a book of business that's going to stand the test of time.
The old adage of 3, 30, 60, 90 on the follow-ups after a sale. There's a lot of science behind that. We won't get into that, but one thing I remember Jackson said prior to AEP, as far as ways to strengthen your book, and that was to over communicate the benefits of not only you as the agent, but also the benefits that the beneficiary is getting out of the plan, and communicating that multiple times. Sometimes we think that, okay, we did it on the front end as we sold it, and then we tend to forget that sometimes they may forget what they actually have and what they do. So in part of that follow-up, re-explaining what they have, to help solidify that relationship. It just communication is just key. Even if it's just checking in, if you did a great job on the front end as far as learning about your customer, and their birthday or their anniversary or their kids are graduating from college in December, you know, reaching out to them, just touching base. It was something else that I know we talk about text, we talk about calls. One thing that I know I did when I was in a PNC role, but it just made more customers feel happy, and that's cards, right? Holiday cards. Send out Thanksgiving, Christmas, uh, whatever other holiday card that is out there. I haven't been in a Hallmark shop in years, so I don't really remember. But just that personalization of just writing, here from our agency, we're wishing you a happy holidays or whatever it is. Uh, Seniors love to get those things in the mail. Heck, anybody likes to get stuff that's not bills in the mail. So anything that you can do to set yourself apart, again, goes back to, I know Courtney said it earlier, we go back to that first slide of being out there, being in front of your beneficiaries, keeping your name out there, and it just helps you build that relationship so much further. So communicate early, often, and in multiple ways. It's your favorite slide, Courtney.
It is my favorite slide. I really like these plans. The indemnity plans give your clients money to spend as they see fit based on a qualifying event. Now, the question is, well, why do you say it that way? Because everybody's need is different. And a lot of us on this call are selling Medicare Advantage plans that have little to no copays, and their hospital copays are fairly manageable. But what happens when we're in a situation and your client Mike was hospitalized? So not only does he have a copay because he went in the hospital, but Mike missed 5 days of work. That makes that copay that much more unmanageable. An indemnity plan pays them money to spend as they see fit. Maybe Mike was able to pay his $350 hospital copay, but he wasn't able to pay his $700 electric bill. A plan like this will help you get that client money to pay that electric bill. If you don't feel like your client can afford this, offer it to them. You will be amazed at how many people are willing to afford a small monthly payment, knowing that they don't have to make a big out of pocket spend later on down the road if something does happen to them. Hospital indemnity plans are even covering things like physical therapy and reimbursing people for items like that. Ambulance rides, anything that a person seems kind of taken back by the sticker price, as you will, with my little air quotes. Um, Let them decide whether or not they can afford it. Just offer it. Most of these plans are guaranteed issue from 65 and a half to 75 and beyond. Underwriting's not the problem. Being comfortable with asking your client whether or not they want to afford a hospital indemnity plan, that's the problem. But if you ask, you'll be amazed. You will be amazed at how many people will choose to afford that. And like I said, there are tons of people this year who are coming in for a benefits checkup, if you will, who are already on the best plan for them. Use that as an opportunity to say, Miss Jones, I know we didn't talk about it a lot last year, but I actually have some plans that will pay you money based on a qualifying event for you to use as you see fit. Would you like to hear more about it? They're probably going to say yes. That's your first yes. Your next yes is just whether or not they can afford it, and they get to make that decision, not you. Um, I can't say that enough. GTL and Wellabe really make the process simple. You can do a text signature with GTL. Wellabe's e-apps are more than user friendly. Um, they even have videos that you can allow the client to watch instead of you doing the presentation. So if you just say, Miss Jones, I'm going to button up all your paperwork. If you'll just watch this little video for me, it might be something that you're interested in. Just let me know. And that becomes very non-invasive. They got to sit there with you anyways. Let them watch a 2.5, 3 minute video and decide whether or not they want to talk more about those plans. I don't see a downside in it. Do you, Brandon?
No, I don't. And what we've seen out of the agents that are being successful selling hospital indemnity is that when offered on a consistent basis, they're closing 1 out of 3. So I mean, it's a very well received product in the market, and the ease of application, the ease of the just like you said, the videos, sitting it down, clicking play on either GTL or Wellabe's website and letting that talk for you. It really does just provide that extra little bit of service, and lets the beneficiary again feel seen, feel heard, and they get to choose whether or not they want it or not. And especially if we've communicated that hospital copays are X, hospital indemnity plans cover X. So it really ties everything together. And I don't see a downside in offering these, because that money, again, should they take the policy out, then they have a qualifying event. That money goes to them to do what they want with. If they have to cover the light bill, if they have to, I was talking with one of our agents that sells these a lot, and he had a customer that lived in Knoxville but had to go to Nashville to Vanderbilt and had to stay overnight. And they were able to use some of that money to cover uh, hotel stay, food while they're out and about. So it really is a benefit to your beneficiary. And I don't think you mentioned it, Courtney. I was taking notes while you were talking, but it also helps you as the agent because these policies pay commissions in real time. So you sell one this week, by end of the week or by first of next week, you should see a commission in your account. So it's a win-win on all sides, if you ask me.
It is. And if you're on here and you're selling ACA, we'll hit that issue heads on. It looks like there's a potential for a lot of the subsidies to go away,
Mm.
which means people are going to have to pick up higher dollar deductible plans. This is a way to soften that blow. There's a guaranteed issue period with GTL and Wellabe that is designed for seniors, right? Because they typically have more health problems. Outside of that guaranteed issue period, you're looking at 5 to 7 health questions. Most folks can go through underwriting with these plans. So if you're out there, you're selling ACA, and you know that people are going to have to go to potentially catastrophic plans in order to be able to afford health coverage at all, take that opportunity to present these plans so that they're, if they do get hit with those big bills, they are able to soften that blow a little bit. These plans are not affected by subsidies, and these plans have not seen rate increases in a long, long time. And I'm gonna knock on wood as I say that, just because I'm a little superstitious. But these plans are built to last. So please keep that in mind. All right, so some of our carrier highlights has been these 4 carriers, and it's rare that I actually call out carriers, but this year this group of 4 carriers has been exceptional. I've never seen a Medicare Advantage plan proactively help agents with client retention, but Devoted is doing it. If you want to write a med sup and Wellabe is available in your area, that person is underwritten and potentially approved in less than 5 minutes It's insane what Wellabe has been able to do with their point of sale underwriting. GTL has the easiest text verification for signatures. You just send a text message to your client's cell phone number and it's done. It is legitimately that simple. They're just reading off, I think it was a 6 or 7 digit code back to you. You input that, boom, the app is signed, you're done. No worries there. And then National Care Dental. I can't shout these guys out enough. Had an agent reach out to me, had a little bit of a client issue where the client was frustrated. They didn't feel like National Care Dental was living up to what their policy said. I reached out to my contact at National Care Dental. He put me in touch with their client services team. No joke. Those people followed up with me over 9 times until they finally said, Courtney, we just issued the client a check. Everything is done. They really ended up not coming out of pocket at all. And the problem was the provider's billing department. So National Care Dental pays second. They pay in addition to a Medicare Advantage plan. They were just billing it incorrectly. NCD reached out to the provider. They fixed the billing issue. They billed the Medicare Advantage. Then they billed NCD. Everything was taken care of. Overall, absolute amazing client services. So if you take a look and you're only contracted with one of these carriers or none of these carriers, please reach out. Let us get you contracted today. All of them are processing contracts very quickly for this time of year, so we can get you set up and appointed ASAP.
I'll say this about NCD as well. They are the only standalone dental plan that is available for quoting and enrolling on Sunfire's platform. I know several of the MA carriers have dental plans that are out there on there as well, but NCD is the only one that Sunfire has reached out to put them on the platform. So the application is there. You just heard about their customer service. Every time I've dealt with them, it's been fantastic. We had them on a couple webinars that are on our YouTube channel. Shameless plug there. Feel free to go check them out. They walk through some of their policies. So if you need to find out more about them, you can go to our YouTube channel and find that out. But all these carriers that are on the screen are definitely making waves this AEP because they're doing things the right way, and they're definitely someone. If you're not contracted with, to Courtney's point, I would reach out. Let's get you contracted with them so you can write some business with them.
All right, guys. Well, this is the point where we say thank you, and I can't tell you how much we truly do mean it. Thank you for all your hard work, your partnership. We look forward to continuing to help you grow your business in Medicare, ACA, and beyond. If you have questions, comments, concern, any of us here at National Contracting Center, we're available to you. Please reach out, let us know how we can help, and we will do our best to make sure that that gets done. Other than that, please go forth and enjoy these last 19 days of AEP and make the best of it. If you have any questions or comments, let us know, and we'll talk to y'all soon.